Welcome to the Dogtor Bros, where we have an honest discussion around vet life in and out of the clinic. My name is Jeff. I'm your doc of the day and your guide through this episode. I am a veterinary dermatologist living in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm here with my closest friends from vet school.
Hey, this is Chris. I'm a GP in North Carolina.
Hey, this is Brandon. I'm a small animal internal medicine specific veterinarian in Colorado.
And hey, this is Adam. I'm a relief veterinarian in Louisville, Kentucky.
All right. And today we're going to get into some things about your first time. No, this is not a dirty episode. Get your mind out of the gutter immediately. We are professionals here at the Dogtor Bros, but we should have some fun learning about our first times and things. So you'll get it as we get into the episode. But first, we'll jump into a little game. So Dogtor Bros, which Dr. Bro do each of you like the least?
Good God.
Damn.
Kidding. Okay. I have an actual game. I was waiting, listeners, for the Google Doc. No one mentioned my game or my question, and I made that question just waiting for somebody to say something, and no one said anything. We've been sitting here planning for like 30 minutes, so I just left it there.
I read the question. I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to answer this if this is real. But I just rolled with it.
No comments. So the actual game, I had everybody send me their favorite cat breed, and I'm going to read your answers, and I would like everyone to guess who said what. So I'm going to read all four. We're just going to guess. It's going to be very casual. It's like, whose line is it anyway? The points don't matter, and the questions are ridiculous. We'll save that question for the first question for the end. Anyway, the who's your favorite cat breed answers were, I'm going to read them all. I'll run through them twice very quickly, and then we can guess. One person said domestic short hair or ones that don't bite me. One person said domestic short hair. One person said domestic short hair or dog. And one person said tortie. And therefore, I hate you all. 3 domestic short hairs. So, one more time. The answers are domestic short hair or ones that don't bite me. Domestic short hair by itself. Domestic short hair or dog or tortie. Who said what?
The or dog was Adam.
Agreed.
Maybe.
That is the correct answer. Who else y'all got?
Ones that don't bite me, I'm guessing is Chris.
Yeah, that's got to be Chris.
Yes. The correct answer.
Which I also agree with, yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It leaves us with 2.
I'm going to say tortie is Brandon.
Yeah, that was my guess too.
Incorrect. I said 12.
Oh, man.
Brandon was the last DSH. I'm the fun one.
Are torties, are they not just are they a breed?
I thought so.
I thought they were just the color of the domestic short hair.
Because if,
I think it's just the color.
I mean,
so we all picked the domestic short hair.
You know what? I'm the doc of the day leading us through this episode. My rules go. Thank you for playing. We're going to jump right into our questions. So basically, the theme of the episode is first times for doing stuff as veterinarians. So what was everybody's first day of vet school like?
This is Adam. I'll jump in here on this one. So thinking back to my first day of vet school, I guess you could kind of look at this from 2 different perspectives, because we did do the kind of introduction program before starting classes, where we just kind of went on a retreat and got to know our classmates. I know we touched on that in a earlier episode about getting to know us. That was obviously intimidating, being there with a bunch of new faces and starting like a journey that is going to be tough, but it was very much we're all in this together type feel, and you really got to know and bond with your class. And really, I think that set us up for success on that first day of school. So like, obviously, first day of school, like any school, you can think, first day of kindergarten, first day of high school, first day of college. You know, there's obviously jitters, and you know, you don't really know anybody, you don't know what to expect. But going into that first day of vet school, having that prerequisite program of where we got to meet each other really, really helped going into that first day of actual classes, because that aspect of it was out of the way. Like, I don't have to worry on top of like getting in the flow and the rhythm of class and trying to branch out and meet new people and you know, make friends in my class, because that aspect of it was already there. So it wasn't really, it was honestly kind of less intimidating than other first day of schools that I've had, because we did kind of have that background going into it.
This is Chris. Ditto what Adam said pretty much. But didn't we guys carpool together on the first day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the
So that was
from the Greens.
from our apartment.
Yeah.
The Greens.
The Greens.
So for those who don't know, it was me, Chris, Adam, and our friend Anna, who hung out with us a lot first year.
And Aaron
as well. Yeah, we all carpooled we all lived in the same apartment complex, met at Toll, which is like our official orientation. So go back and listen to one of our first episodes when we talked about it in more detail. But Brandon hated us, so he lived elsewhere.
I was a Nepo baby in Auburn. I already had a place to live.
Nepo baby, that's great. My thoughts on like first time as a vet student was like, it's this surreal experience where you're like, it's a professional school, so it's not exactly the same as like first day of college where you feel free, or first day of high school. But like, we kind of knew people, like Adam said, going in, so that was cool. But then like all of my friends who are not in the veterinary world were just like going to work, which is really weird when you're texting people and they're like, yeah, I have a meeting at 3:00. And you're like, I'm learning where the bathroom is at school, but text you later. So it was a fun, weird experience, but it was also like, yeah, I finally made it.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. Like you guys said, we met each other already at Toll, so like some of those jitters were gone. I'm definitely, I was more of an introvert back then, so generally I'm more quiet and reserved and kind of just like waiting for stuff to happen rather than like trying to probe into seeing like what's going to happen kind of deal. It was like surreal because I was, like you guys said, like just happy that we were there and had made it, but very nerve wracking. I was just like, I feel like there's a lot of pressure now. Like there's pressure before to get in, and there's pressure when you're there to succeed. So yeah, that sums it up really.
Yeah, I feel like we had that pressure of like, we finally made it, and then immediately you learn how many classes you have and what's expected of you, and then within the first week you're like, oh, all the pressures now stacking on top of it itself again. Now just how do I stay in this? But let's switch gears a little bit and tell me a little bit about like, now we've graduated, you've got your license and your first big boy job. What was your first day like as a veterinarian?
I'll just jump in again. It's Brandon. It's actually very similar to starting vet school because I was going into internship. So it was like the same thing over again, really. Nerve wracking. I hadn't met my peers yet, so that stress was there. And then there was also the stress of like, I finally made it to this point. I need to succeed. So very similar. I felt like it was more stressful for my first day of internship than it was veterinary school.
Yeah, I can tag on at least to the internship part of that. This is Jeff, and say I felt similar and super. I felt way more intimidated by my first day as a vet because I'm like, I have my little license, but then you feel like you're slapped right at the bottom of the totem pole again. And you're like, I just want to make it and do my best. And, I feel like a little kid with a little backpack and I'm just getting on my bus, except now there's a lot more pressure because my license is technically on the line with whatever I do. And I don't know if I loved that. What about y'all in GP land?
This is Chris. It was still pretty nerve-wracking. I went to a 4-doctor practice and I made the 5th one. So that was kind of a crazy thing. And I don't know if it was my first day, but it was definitely my first week at the practice. I had just moved to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and we had met our neighbors. Didn't tell them what I did. We just met them. Sweet old elderly couple. Also, I'm at work, and the way that practice worked was it was just walk-in. So there was no appointment. So you were just randomly lucked to get who it was ever in the room unless they requested a specific doctor. So obviously no one was requesting me because I was a brand new guy. No one knew who I was. Went and saw this client. It was my next door neighbor. And that was the weirdest thing because their dog came in, had a 105 fever. And I was like panicking because I'm like, how do I fix this thing? And it's my neighbor's dog now that I just met last week. So I'm like trying to figure out so it was very stressful. We did all the diagnostics and everything. And I'm like, we had no clue what was wrong. It was a fever of unknown origin is what was the diagnosis. Fluids, I think it was some antibiotics, some NSAIDs. The dog was better in like 2 days and it looked great. But yeah, that was, again, I don't know if it was the first day, but definitely the first week that happened.
Yeah, and this is Adam. I probably had a very different first day than Chris there because I first started at Banfield, and at the time, at least, they had a very, very gradual ease in program for new vets, which I really appreciated at the time because I wasn't one of those people that came out of vet school ready to hit the ground running. Let's go. I still had my nerves of being in charge and managing the case and everything. And so, they start you off super easy. I mean, you being kind of more corporate, they do have a lot of computer work and policy you got to go over and stuff. So most of my early days were doing things like that. But I remember my mentor at the time told me, he said, I promise you're going to touch a pet today on my first day. And my first day,
I hope so.
The very first thing I did was help a tech with a nail trim. And I swear to God, I even had anxiety with the nail trim because I was like, don't quick it, get them short enough. Don't get bit. Don't get scratched. Don't let the tech get scratched. The anxiety was there even just with a nail trim. So that's the biggest thing that jumped out from my first day of vet school. And obviously, as you go, things just become second nature. But I always thought that was funny that, he kind of told me, you're going to touch a pet today, I promise. And then, the nail trim is what gave me the biggest anxiety on my first day.
I mean, by those standards, you probably had, Chris, I would say you probably had probably the most relatable first day because you're kind of here's your first day, here you go, be a veterinarian. Whereas mine was buffered by, internship and me and Brandon's internship because I don't know about you, Brandon, but I was just shadowing for a while those first couple of days. I didn't have any I was on ER doing primary case care for a little bit.
Yeah, same. The first week to week and a half-ish, because we overlapped with the last intern class.
Yeah, us too.
So they would kind of let us do stuff with them and phase us out or phase them out and phase us in. Yeah, that was a stressful time. I remember. No, it's all coming back. It was like, oh gosh,
time to trigger everybody. All right, very good. And then another thing that's interesting to me is, so we're veterinarians now. If y'all can recall, yes, we did get to do a little bit of surgery in vet school, but what was it like for you doing your first surgeries out on the job?
This is Adam. I'll start with this one. I hate surgery. I've always hated surgery. Surgery terrifies me. I am genetically not well to perform surgery.
Not genetic. With
my eyes. I have genetic disadvantages in the surgery suite. I didn't like it in school. I tried to make myself like it because I tried to expose myself, which I'm proud of myself for doing, trying to expose myself as much as possible to try to get comfortable with it. First surgery in GP was a cat spay. Again, was real stressed the whole time. It went fine. Everything went fine. The cat was fine. But yeah, didn't like it. And
Point blank.
several years of doing surgery, I got slightly more comfortable with it, but never liked it. And now I don't do any surgery, and I love that for me. So yeah, a lot of stress with surgery, just in general. But yeah,
I'm gonna jump in because I feel the exact same way as Adam, and that might be why I'm in internal medicine now.
It's like you both systematically got your way out of surgery.
The most surgery that I do is like an E2 placement, and even that is stressful. So yeah, I think my first one was a neuter. It went fine, but still stressful, overthinking the whole thing. Like I could probably do a better neuter now than without like getting in my head so much than I did before. But yeah, it's the same reasons that Adam said. It's just like, except for the genetic predisposition to not being able to do surgery well, I don't have that on my side. But yeah, ditto what Adam said overall.
This is Chris. I have the complete opposite answer to both of them. I don't remember.
That's why I wanted to beat you to it.
Yeah, I don't remember what my first surgery was. It was probably a spay or neuter. In practice, but it was fine. I'm definitely better than I was now. I would hope so. I just remember being really slow then, and I remember the technician there was like, "You should be done already." And I'm like, and I had like just cut, and I was like, "I'm going as fast as I can." I do remember that. Like, she was like very like want to be done, and like my mentor was like, I mean, he's the guy that can do like a neuter in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, spays in like 5 minutes type of guy. So she was like not happy that I was like going slow and trying to make sure that I like tied everything off and was like triple checking everything like you should. And so that was probably the stressful part, but it wasn't the actual surgery. It was just the tech, like, "You're going too slow." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And I was just very like trying not to like step on toes, but now I'd be like, "We're fine." But I do remember my most stressful surgery when I got out of in practice was it was like 4 months in, and my mentor was supposed to be doing the surgery, and he had a family emergency. Something happened, couldn't be there, and they're like, "Hey, since you like surgery, you're up." And I was like, "For what?" Like, "Oh, you're doing this 100-pound Rottweiler hind limb amputation."
Oh my God.
Typically, I like to read and like kind of prepare for everything ahead of time. Like, refresh.
It's like, "You're licensed, get in there,
everything,
buddy."
Yeah.
Smack you on the butt.
The last amputation I had done was a sub 20-pound dog in vet school. I knew the guy whose dog I was taking off.
He had an eye condition.
This is why he didn't do it himself.
Genetically.
Yeah. That's the one that JT and I did. We definitely mentioned that in a past episode. So yeah, I went from a little dog to a giant dog. That took forever, and that was the most nerve-wracking hind amputation I've ever done. Dog did great, but again, super nerve-wracking.
I mean, that's all's well that ends well. I mean, my first surgery, I think it went fine. I didn't get to do a ton in internship, but again, it was like sheltered environment. My facility had like 5 surgeons, so I got like, the full, not the full get up, if you will, but like we had fun toys and like a super, super nice facility and like really excellent, like well-oiled machine type technicians. Like, so it was just like the service was quick. I was slow. I was super slow. I think it was, I remember doing like a cat spay, but I was partially just slow because you do so much just like holding and retracting during your internship that like somebody finally had like a shelter animal for me to work on. And I was like, woo. And I finally did it. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't surgerized in months. And it took forever, at least like 45 minutes to an hour, I'm sure. And it was definitely a chunky cat, but I liked surgery like less and less, as you all know, the more I went through my internship. But you know what? I made it, and it's fine. And now we've literally 3 out of the 4 of us have systematically gotten our way out of surgery. So if it's not your thing, that's okay. If it is your thing, be Chris. And then I think this will be towards the end of our like on topics. So what was your first euthanasia like? Because I think this will be interesting. Let's switch it up a little bit. Tell me what was going through your mind. How did it go down? How did you make yourself professional? Give me the vibes.
So this is Adam. I'm gonna hop in here real quick, and mine's kind of unique because I honestly, I do not remember my very first euthanasia. But I do remember very, very early on, we had a man who we had been seeing consistently that was a cat that had kind of repeat urinary issues. And at the time, I hadn't seen him before. And so I just wanted to kind of talk with him a little bit about what's going on with the cat and everything before we do the euthanasia. And so I spoke to him on the phone prior because he wanted to just come in and have the cat euthanized. No questions asked type of situation. And I told him on the phone, I would be more than happy for you to come in, for me to see the cat, do an exam, and let's have a discussion, about what's going on. And, he got a little grumpy on the phone and, a little irritated just because from his point of view, this is something he had been dealing with for a long time and something that he, again, felt like he was doing the right thing in that moment. And kind of went, again, just talking with him and letting him know, yes, please come in. We'll talk about what's going on. And it kind of escalated a little bit to where he was getting frustrated. And again, I'll never forget, because again, this was very, very early in my career. Like I had been seeing patients on my own probably for 2 weeks. And just right in the middle of him getting irritated with me, he stopped and he said, "How long have you been practicing veterinary medicine?"
Oh, no. oh my God.
And I paused and I said, "I don't see how that's relevant to this situation." and he ended up coming in. He was very apologetic when he came in. We had a great conversation. He was very nice when he came in. We came to a good resolution. In that point in time, we ended up not euthanizing the cat, but we had a great conversation. We were very well connected. And that just always stands out to me as just an interaction that, I kind of stood my ground in a professional manner, and then was also able to kind of have an open conversation with the owner. Because again, I was not saying I will not euthanize your cat, but again, just having that open conversation. So I know that's a little off topic, but whenever the topic of euthanasia came up, that was the first story that kind of came to mind for me.
No, I mean, I still think that's legit. Still your first days and times of euthanasia. I'm into it. What about y'all, Brandon, Chris?
I'll go because I don't want to go last because mine's kind of sad. And just as far like Adam, for yours, that's like really great that you stood your ground and all that in that situation that early out of school. I don't know that I would have been able to do that. Just thinking back. For me, internship. Unfortunately, we like JT can attest to this. We see a lot of like more serious stuff come through the ER. We're doing a lot of ER work. Sometimes people do or don't have money, and sometimes split second decisions kind of need to be made. I'm pretty sure this is my first euthanasia. I don't know for certainty, but it's definitely the one that I remember as my first. I was working ER. We had a 12-week-old German Shepherd puppy come in for seizure activity. I don't remember all the details at the time. I believe normally the thing you think of with a puppy, their blood sugar is low. Why is that happening? That didn't work with this one. Like the blood sugar, like all the basic stuff was done at the beginning. It was normal. So this dog was having seizures. The owners couldn't afford to hospitalize, do workup. We had a great neurology service at the time. And I'm only like 2 or 3 months into internship, and ended up having to euthanize this puppy, which was just heartbreaking. At the end of the day, like I'd still do it again because the dog was suffering. They weren't going to be able to treat it. It needed to, have that that pain release or pain removed from its life. And it was just the hardest thing that I ever had to do up to that point. First time I had first and last time that I had cried at work. Cause that was just heartbreaking and that stuck with me. That really toughened me up moving forward in internship. Like there wasn't a lot that got worse than that. And there honestly hasn't been a lot that's gotten worse than that since, as far as like me being the primary veterinarian. So that was a tough one. But a really big learning point and like pivotal point in my career.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, thank you for sharing that. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely, this is really sad, Brian. I don't remember my first euthanasia. I kind of suppressed a lot of them just because we've done so many, so I don't remember all. It probably didn't go bad because I don't remember it, and it probably went smooth. Usually remember the ones that don't go smooth. So from that aspect, yeah, everything was fine. I've definitely choked up a few times. It's not common. It's probably, there's 3 that I can remember. But again, I don't, from the first euthanasia in practice, I honestly don't remember it very well.
Well, I mean, I think those are all like honest answers, much deeper than I was expecting, but I like that because, like we want to talk about we always say we're going to talk about like the good and the bad, et cetera, over here. And so that was great. And like for my answer, I just remember, I don't remember the exact case, but I remember how I felt, which is really at peace with it because we had Dr. McVetti from Lap of Love. Like, if y'all don't know who that is, feel free to go Google it. Really excellent company that deals with a lot of humane euthanasia. But she came and spoke to us in vet school, and we had seen her at NAVC, which at the time of this recording is happening like soon or maybe right now. But the National Veterinary Conference that is the biggest in the United States, et cetera.
VMX now.
And VMX now. That we've talked about before. But anyway, a gajillion veterinarians all in one place in Orlando every single year. And we had seen her speak there. And I just remember like getting all these good like tips on how to be compassionate and empathetic in advance. And I just remember like during, like Brandon said, like in internship, we get a lot of euthanasia because so many things come into specialty hospitals chronic and extremely sick. And a lot of them need somebody to be able to walk them through that and be professional and sympathetic and just be with them. So I feel like I think I did a good job. I felt very good about it. I felt like I connected well with my clients, and I just remember it being smooth and like I really had a good handle of something that's really, really sad for a lot of people. The last time they remember their pets, and I just remember feeling really good about helping them through that process, which is kind of why I wanted to get y'all's opinions on what you thought from back then. So that was really good. And then to hit us with a lighter note as we end this out, we'll jump into just a fun question, which is today, if you could perpetually live in one season, which season would it be? I can go first.
Let me guess.
It's gonna be summer. I want to be hot. I like it a lot. I want to be at the beach each. Let's go get a wave.
This is Chris. I'm with JT. I like summer a lot.
Let's go.
I'd rather be outside a whole lot. I don't live in an awesome location like Brandon where my winters are great and I can go do snowboarding or is it split boarding? What you do, Brandon?
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
While we're on mine,
Isn't it just skiing?
No.
You just pushed a
It's
button.
much different.
Entirely intentional.
No, I actually was just up in the mountains yesterday, and went snowboarding and splitboarding. Splitboarding is where you go uphill, not using the lifts on purpose, and then ride downhill.
Sounds like skiing.
And yeah, you know what? Yeah, whenever you come visit in the winter, I'll take you out and you'll get the experience. And then you can.
That would never happen. That would, listeners. If I'm in Denver in the winter, it is against my will, and I want you to call somebody.
All right, guys. So next year we're meeting up in Denver, and we're all going to go splitboarding.
Just put my face on a popsicle stick and take it with you for pictures.
For what it's worth, you get up there and you get moving, and like I had like 4 different layers on, and by the time I'm like 10 minutes in, I have like barely a layer on. Like it, you get cooking.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have barely a layer on only at the beach.
All right, well, back to the original question. I'm still summer, but like this past weekend, it's like slowly pulling me towards winter, which is crazy to hear from me.
Yeah, I swore you were going to say winter. I picked this because I thought we'd have different answers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still like, I grew up by the beach. I grew up in a hot place. I still love the heat, and it gets hot here. Like, don't get me wrong, summers here are beautiful. It gets up into the 90s, 100s. Like, it gets hot. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it can. Like, oftentimes it's like 80s, 90s, but in the summertime. But, yeah, I'm slowly turning into a winter person, which is just crazy.
What about you, Adam?
Well, I'll be the one to go different. So I'll say, I actually really like the fall. I'm a basic white.
Help. She needs her pumpkin spice stat.
I really like the fall.
Oh boy.
I think the weather's good. You kind of get a good range to where it's nice outside and you get like a nice 75 degrees, and then you'll get those random days where it's nice and warmer, like in the 80s, and then those random days where it's cooler, like in the 50s, 60s. So you get a good range there. So you still get your hot and your cold, but mostly just like a good middle. It's football season. You watch the Bears lose every week. The trees are changing colors. You know, there's a lot going on in the fall. So yeah, I like the fall.
Thank you once again for joining us on the Dogtor Bros.
If you would like to support us, please share this episode with others who may be interested in today's topic, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Would you like to influence our next episode? We love hearing your opinions and thoughts. Your comments may be our next topic.
Please leave us suggestions via email at thedoctorbros@gmail.com, DM us at thedoctorbros on Instagram, or leave us comments on our posts. Again, this is Brandon. You can reach me at Dr. Mason IM on Instagram.
And this is Chris, and you can reach me on Instagram at dr.chrishernandez.
And this is Jeff. You can find me on TikTok or Instagram at DermDrJeff, DermDogtorJeff.
And this is Adam. You can reach me on Instagram at DrAdamDVM. That's DrAdamDVM.